we do have an anonymous letter that we got from our website, thirstyand30.club. Maplug lang. Okay. Bea, please read our anonymous letter.
So,
Why does this girl feel like she can message me when she should really just talk to her boyfriend? Please, accidental querida. Yeah. Or like, why do you feel like sometimes, I mean, this goes into like querida films. Like, it's always the querida and the wife that confront each other rather than the husband or boyfriend and the girl.
No,
Like,
I just think it's what it boils down to, right? Is we live in a very misogynistic, patriarchal society. And so from a very young age, we are conditioned as women.
dying. Cork's
No,
dying.
it's true. We're conditioned as women to take the blame and not
Yeah.
necessarily, um, see fault in men. And it bleeds into all aspects of society, not just dating, but in standards of beauty, in work, even in religion and in culture. It's like women are always put in a position that it is less than men. It's
Mm.
ingrained in our culture, and it's hard to unlearn. But I think another part of the letter that really stood out for me is when she said that dating is a numbers game. Um, I think that we as women really need to rethink the roles of romance in our lives, and we need to decentralize this as a priority. Because the fact that we are gamifying dating and saying, "Oh, it's a numbers game. It's about the number of messages I have in my dating app, or it's the number of guys that I'm texting at the same time." We're just playing into the system. You know that marriage was initially, sorry, I don't know if you guys said this in my intro, but I'm taking my master's in women's studies. So
We have
marriage
all.
was conceptualized for the purpose of keeping land within families. So marriage is a product of capitalism, and it isn't really about. It's just, I know it's this whole, we're talking about
No, I
rom-coms,
need to
but
know
at
this
the
Sige,
end
because
of
Bea,
the
yan.
day,
gagamitin ko
it's
yan.
just about keeping land within families so we can pass it
Yeah.
down to the next generation. And so once you kind of like open your eyes and you're like, oh, I don't need to center this as my priority. I can have other
Yeah.
priorities in my life. And I don't think that anxiety will come into play that much.
I think it wasn't my fault. So, Axel Corrida, it's not your fault. Si Ted is
It's
guiding
not your
the
fault.
podcast.
Wait, question here. Should women do due diligence before they date someone? Or should they go with the spontaneous flow? You know?
Due
But
diligence.
Before we
like
dive into the topic, let's have a little icebreaker. Okay, so what movie title will you give your past, present, or future relationship? You can pick one, past, present, or future. What's the movie title?
Oh,
Who I was
you
trying to
know, you do know that the movie title is like one of the hardest parts,
yeah, I
to
know.
thank
decide on.
God I have professionals over here to. But naman ano,
Okay, so when I was living in Melbourne and I just moved there, I used to go out on dates and then I would tell the girl, just like take me to your favorite place. And that was my way of seeing different parts of the city outside of my little bubble.
mm,
Cute,
Although
cute.
I didn't, so my tag was kind of like 50 first
Na
dates,
siya.
but like,
oo.
Tayo like
Quark, movie title
Oo, no?
of your relationship, past, present, or syempre, past or syempre, sana
Um,
or future. Same.
well, ano ba? I guess because I gave this example to you, Shari, as one of my favorite romantic films. And since we're also talking about Jess Milner and everyone, I guess singles, because there was that time, and Sam remembers this, na parang
yeah,
the singles
it's
of
kind of
Manila.
in our interlap.
Yeah, our single life.
Hard time looking for teleseries that aren't really based on some sort of Querida plot or love plot.
Na ano,
Yeah.
Nag-iisip
yeah.
ako kung
No,
meron.
but
Wala.
it's so bad here that I think they even have technical terms na yung mga like for example, like hugot naman kasi is ano, di ba? Yung
Mm.
nothing new naman siya. It's senti, it's emo. Di ba? It's kind of they just find the different words for the same thing.
Yeah.
But Kilig, yeah, may mga technical terms as in and I remember hearing it for the show. Asan yung look of love? So apparently, look of love is when they first fall in love with the person.
Oh, wow.
Or parang kulang ng kilig moments. Lagyan mo pa ng kilig moments, which are like cutaways of them going, yung mga,
The look of love. Gusto ko
and
yata
yeah,
yun.
so, ayun.
But yeah, see, tama na ang 10 years a slave. Look of love na yung bagong ano.
Ikaw,
Wag
Sam,
na.
have you experience that?
No, I think diba, it's supply and demand. So I think you need to examine why
The
why
demand that's there.
why
Tayo
the
obsessed.
demand why is the demand there?
Pero
I
tingin
don't
niyo
know.
ba it gives us like ano, it sets us up for failure sometimes. Like our expectations today are so high for romantic gestures. Or di naman tayo ganun ka-impressionable.
Ganun tayo ka-impressionable if the last 5 years have taught us anything.
Oo, impressionable.
Yeah.
So we are very
And
impressionable as a
it's
nation.
also like super hard, right? Because I've been on a journey of reflection and
Yeah.
healing. And so you kind of, it's been a year of kind of like redefining what romantic love means to me personally. And then now when I watch like all these movies, like I have, like I talked to Clara about this a lot. It's like, oh my God, there's so much red flags in this plot, but it's like, it makes such a good, like Notting Hill. I love that movie. I watch it like 4 times a year. But if you
Akala
look
ko
at
four
Julia
times a month.
Roberts, it's like, oh my God, there's so much red flags with her as a person. And you can
Yeah.
see it. You can see it. It's like a car crash in slow motion. But
Yep.
it's like, like it's fun to watch and it's fiction.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's
That's what
hard
I
to
find
kind of
hard with
say.
romantic comedies is because you know at some point, or romantic dramas, you know at some point it's gonna mess up. I'm like, alam ko na
Yeah.
mangyayari. Naasar na ako. It's like,
Or it's like, why are they ending up together where you know for certain that in the real world, right? Like that's not gonna work out.
Even
Diba?
in You've Got Mail, which is like one of my favorite films, and it's Tom Hanks. And then you watch it again, and then you're, oh my
Yeah,
God,
he
niloko mo
lied
siya
to
for
her
so
so
long.
much times.
Ang
Yeah.
tagal naman. But
So
I still like
I
it.
think
but like for you guys, like love, what does it mean now? And what did it mean when you were being taught love? Ang lalim, but gets niyo ba?
What does she mean by this text? And he's like, what should I do next? And we're like, ganun talaga kami. Like, ano, parang, and like, I'll tell her about this, ano, a girl who broke my heart in the US, or all of this. And yeah, Sam was there when Bianca and I got together, and I think I approached things more logically than I usually did, and but I think it lasts longer. It's so much nicer. It's so peaceful now. My life is so peaceful. I love it. And I mean, what is love? One of my favorite quotes is a Death Cab song, which is love is watching someone die. Diba? Parang that we're in this for the long haul, diba? And not the big spikes and the but kind of I have my companion for life now, diba?
Yeah,
So
like we were talking about it, the nice guys finish last or ano ba? I mean,
which is
your film obviously gave a bit of different take on that, but like sometimes kung masyado ka bang mabait, I mean, someone's gonna step all over you.
but diba? I mean, like that's also a form of that's actually also a fallacy, diba? I mean, maybe
Yeah.
even a form of naive entitlement that parang just because I'm a nice guy I deserve love and la la la.
Yeah.
So parang so diba? I mean like a long time after that, parang I think I realized that maybe 5 years when I was dating si trauma-inducing girl from San Diego. Na Sam knows.
Trauma-inducing girl.
What a word.
Fun
What a
girl.
phrasing.
So
Trauma and
but then I realized parang oh my god, like this nice guy bullshit has to stop, diba? Parang and then something that's very apparent in rock and roll. Is there something in Baka Bukas that you're like
yeah.
shit?
No,
She
I
just
think
threw the
both.
ball at you. But I was
No,
gonna ask
no,
a follow-up later.
no. Wait. I'll answer this. Na parang not from a filmmaking perspective, but from a character perspective. I think both Alex and Emma in from Billy and Emma. I think they are both aspirational to me because they ended up choosing themselves. So at that time, both characters were, or until now, I guess, they're both like aspirational. That's why I think my like audiences always get mad at me. It's like, bakit open-ended yung, yung mga ending ng films? Because they never like run, they never go into the sunset and kiss or whatever. It's always like the lead character choosing to take her own journey or choosing herself first. And I think writing, it's always like, oh, that's, and I'm also writing something now. It's so interesting. Like, it's always like, oh, this is the self that I eventually want to be. So it's good
I
to
don't
have. Think that's the misconception, diba? Is that being a romantic or in being this super well adjusted person are in different realms, but they can
Yeah.
exist together. Quark.
Yan
Like,
I
nga.
look
like
at
that
Quark,
one. I
diba?
like what Sam said. Yes.
Mm.
They're not. So it's not one or the other. You just have to find a good balance, I guess, in between.
Yeah.
Mm.
Here's another negative idea that rom-coms perpetrate is that romance is time bound, when in
Mm.
truth, diba? Because it's always like someone in their 20s or someone in their early 30s or whatever. But diba, like parang it can happen later in life. Like look at Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff. Both met when they were already at the peak of their careers, and they got married and had they're super cute.
I was gonna say I actually loved Hintayin ng Langit because it showed like
I haven't
romance.
seen this. Oh,
So
I
that's
saw
like,
this on Netflix. I think I tried to
yeah.
watch it for with my grandmother because I was
So
encouraging her to date.
so they're so old that they're dead actually in the
Wait, I have a question. Let's go back to movies and the Carita plotline. Okay, so the thing is, I feel like the people around me, or at least based on my experience, the men na I know, lahat sila medyo manloloko.
Yeah.
Not rampant manloloko. And you hear it a lot. And I've heard na it's very common in the Philippines, kind of macho for men to have other women. What came first? That or the fact na sobrang uso yung Kirida plotline sa movies?
That's a good. It's
manloloko.
chicken egg.
Yung mga guys na manloloko.
Dami though. Where you agree na medyo rampant siya in the Philippines as compared to other countries? Or mas socially acceptable siya dito?
I defer to the gender studies
Yeah.
master.
Sam, educate us.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of because I mean I'm very discerning about the straight guy friends that I'm very close to. One of them is
Okay.
Quark. So I don't really know about these shady guys and their behavior.
There are a
Diba?
lot.
But
There are a
I
lot,
mean,
Sam.
but I can't say that it's like you. How do I say this without getting into trouble? Like people who have a certain influence in society display a specific type of behavior, and it enables people to think that that kind of behavior is okay, whether it be to make rape jokes or to treat women poorly or to go after to analyze women who have achieved a certain rank in their lives solely based on their beauty and not by anything else. And so when you have men in power who act a certain way and they still get away with it, it just encourages the worst behavior in the men who follow them, I think.
Even that showbiz, parang I guess to your point, that whole Querida narrative is so di ba there was a Mocha, nabuntis daw ata si Mocha last week, I don't know, and they
Yeah.
were saying it was another celebrity and people were like
Yeah.
super messaging that celebrity's wife, I don't know, but parang even Chismis World and parang that narrative is perpetuated.
Strong. Yeah.
Mm.
And
And
then
it's the girl's fault. It's always a Querida's fault, diba?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I remember Julia getting a lot of shit for it and nothing on Gerald. Not really.
Yeah, why did
I was
anyone
like,
talk about him?
bakit
Mm,
siguro yun sa news? Ano nangyari kay Gerald na yung may girlfriend dapat? Alam mo yun?
yeah, diba?
Yeah.
With Baka Bukas. Like, how difficult was it? I mean, it was a lesbian love story. Was it hard
Yeah.
to get off the ground?
It's it's so interesting. The last 5 years, when I was trying to get Bahabukas made, the meetings that I was going into are so different from the meetings that I'm going into today. And it's only been 5 years.
Hmm.
So even if it was hard then, and it's still kind of like hard now, or it's just interesting to see that there's at least some progress or some movement in the reception of what you know the reception to what I'm pitching.
Shai and I talk about the bathtub scene. We love it.
Kasi I love that song. I mean, it's perfect. Like, I mean, you're scared you haven't had sex with a girl ever. What a nice thing to, like, let me know if
Ang
I'm.
ganda ng bathtub. Ang ganda
Oh my
na
God,
nilang dalawa.
I loved it.
And Quark, I have to ask about your film because the one on the bed scene where she talks about, basically the guy, Dieter Ocampo. And then, like, he kisses her. Like, why is it always timing with that? Like, always, timing. Yung parang mali yung timing. Means,
Oh yeah, see Audie.
yeah, like, he
Yeah,
kisses her. And
yeah,
obviously she
yeah.
says, like,
I know. What is that?
friendship. It's like,
Oo.
friendship is more important. I was like, he just kissed you and there's a bed
Ay,
there. Like, I don't
bakit ka ganon?
understand.
Yeah. Diba, like, yun nga, I mentioned that a lot of things are dated, especially yung mindset ni Audie in that film. But I do love yung how Irene kind of like, because like si Audie keeps diba, kind of like coming up with, okay, let's forget all the good times we had. Those meant nothing,
Yeah.
diba? And then parang hindi naman ganun kadali yung feelings eh. Hindi, it's not a 1 plus 1
Yeah.
is equal to 2, parang ganun. So and I must admit, okay, that a lot of that was most of that conversation did occur in real life.
That's what I was going to ask you guys.
Sometimes
You and
I
Sam,
was
are those two characters very you guys? Because I can see something
It's
there
like
that's
stuff that
too
happened,
real.
like the
Too
bathtub
real.
scene. Actually, that's why I'm laughing. Is it something that?
Yeah. So both of you, those scenes have
Except for
happened.
the singing part, but like that was just
You know
Sam,
what's great about movies is that, like, I mean, you experience it, and then you have a little time after it, and then you're like, I wish I said this and I should have said that, and then you can put that in the movie. So it's like reliving.
like I wish I could sing Gemini to a girl.
Diba?
Did you ever think of doing it though? Kaya ba na-pop up sa head mo na perfect yung kantang yun ah? Like,
No, I
Yes.
actually learned how to play an instrument for someone, and it was just like a combination of those two things.
Yeah.
So you can't say that Quark and I aren't romantics because we are romantics, but it's like romantics na self-aware, I think.
I think,
Oh my
okay.
God, na-inspire ako maging romantic dahil sa inyong dalawa. So,
Na-inspire ako maging filmmaker. Feeling a joke lang. I have no skill.
shut
You
up.
could actually, if Bea wanted to write a film based on her 12 years a slave, 10 years a slave.
10 years a slave.
It would just be a
She
horror
could.
house. We should shoot in a horror
And
house.
can you cast me as your friend who you call when you're drunk? Because
Oh.
that actually happened. Or you
Yes.
call when you want to get drunk. Yeah.
Sam was my call a friend. Like, ano ba
Yeah.
nangyayari sa akin? Telenovela na to. Yeah.